Andy Reeves writes, "Hi guys, love your show. I wanted to ask about the new Friday the 13th movie that was announced in 2013. Is it dead or are they still working on it? It's not found footage, right?"
As far as I know, they are still working on it. And to your and my chagrin, it is indeed going to be a found footage movie from everything that I understand. This is coming from the same director who did the first VHS movie, not to be confused with the Weird Al Yankovic masterpiece. But this is something I'm very hesitant about. I mean, and look, and it's not because of Platinum Dune. I mean, look, Platinum Dune just gave us Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm like, hey, actually, I ended up liking that. But found footage, I'm over. And so there's, as far as I know, it's still coming, but I'm so down on it. Michael, what do you think?
Well, George, I'm going to have to sell this. Are we still buying or selling, or is this still?
No, this is mailbag now.
I'm still selling it. I am really upset that they did a reboot of Friday the 13th. They had a great new Jason, Derek Mears. He was great, and then they just waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And I'm like, look, you made money on the Friday the 13th movie. Why didn't you just make another one? That's part of the plan. When you make a low-budget horror movie and you make money, then you make another one and you make more money. And you release one every year until you phased out and made like 7 of them. Then you got to take a break and then do that again. With this Friday the 13th, I've read, articles from one of the producers like, well, we're really thinking about it. We're really going to take a new spin on this. It's not this so simple that you could write it in an afternoon. It's kids go to Camp Crystal Lake and a weird creepy dude is there and he's going to kill them one by one. So that's it. And then there's a whole bunch of different ways you could do it. You could do it found footage, which I think is really stupid, dumb, and played out. But that's me. So you could do it that way, which is what they're really convinced they're going to do. And also found footage is one of the cheapest ways to do anything. You just like sloppily run around with a handy cam. And there we have our movie. You know, it takes some finessing to actually make a really good found footage film, but almost anybody can do it. So once again, it's like, and you could do it really cheaply. So why don't you make 5 Friday the 13th with 5 different directors, all found footage, and pick the best one? It'll only cost you $50. You know what I mean? It's like, what is taking so long to make a Friday the 13th movie? This is ridiculous. It's gone into the era of ridiculousness. That's where it is right now.
Well, for a long time, I know there was a lot of drama with rights, because remember there was a rights thing going on between Paramount and Warner Brothers, and there was some trading of rights that got Warner Brothers the right to distribute, I think, or be one of the distributors for the latest Christopher Nolan film, Interstellar. I keep on wanting to say Inception. Yeah. And that was actually part of the deal. And so that was a long delay, but you're right. And going back to your other point, that last Friday the 13th movie with Supernatural star Jared Padalecki, I always mispronounce his last name, cost $19 million to make, made over $90 million at the box office. It's like, isn't that exactly what you're going for by making these schlocky horror films?
It's boggling.
I don't know. Yeah. Christian, what do you think?
Well, Key Peele. I think as far as this movie goes, I don't care as far as in general. Friday the 13th. I'm just so done with it. It should have been done when he was in space. But
that was a good one.
But you're right, though. It made money. The last remake that they made. Found footage. It's certainly done in the horror genre. What's next? Is Jason gonna be Skyping? Are we gonna have Jason Skyping with Freddy? That's what I'd rather see.
Jason unfriended.
I'd rather see Jason and Freddy Part 2. And I'd rather them do it right. But if they're going to do Friday the 13th again, I'd like them to really strip it back to basics and go retro style. I mean, look at what Robert Rodriguez did with that B movie with Machete. The second one is horrendous. But in the style, it's like you felt like you were watching an old B movie. Why not go back and make like feel like I'm watching on VHS tape the first Friday the 13th movie? Like to go back into what its roots are and just paint it as this, like you shot it for $5 million. And even if you have some good talent attached, give me that feel, that gritty feel like I'm actually watching an old school horror movie. It's too glossy now. It feels like it's like a wrestling event where they're going, and here he comes, Jason, and it just super jumped the shark. So I'd like to see them reboot it with the grit.
Going back to what you're just talking about get a feel of the grit, the original style stuff. You've heard me mention this film before. I highly recommend if you have not seen it. I think it's on Netflix. It's this little horror film that's kind of also a commentary on horror films. It's called Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. The movie is brilliant. Go check it out. You will not regret it. It's really funny, but also insightful into the whole genre. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
It's a meta horror film.
Yeah,
it's a documentary crew filming like a Jason or a Freddy. So it's a great film.